Good morning, everyone, and welcome to week 3. Hopefully you had a chance to enjoy your weekend or not work or pick up extra shifts. But we're back at it. So let's take a look. Again, you can access this week's module by clicking this week's module on the left-hand navigation. And again, as always, it takes you to the overview of the week, including the point values, kind of what's available to you, when it's due, and all of the extra credit opportunities. This week, there are quite a few extra credit opportunities. Again, it's up to you if you want to do them. They're not required. It's just an option for you. You'll notice that once we're in an essay unit, in every module, I repost the assignment. So that way, you always kind of have it in your mind of what essay you're writing on. You can kind of quickly and easily refer to the essay requirements. I do encourage you to download a copy for yourself, but I put it in the module every week within each week's unit, just so that you do have that. So here it is, our essay number 1 assignment. And then I put a few pages here just as kind of reminders about writing skills. You know, again, some of you may be coming directly from English 100 or 100S, but some of you may not have been in an English class for a while. And so this is just a review. If you feel like you don't need this review, then you can scroll all the way to the bottom of this page and click next. But if you think a review might be helpful, then I would encourage you to read through this page. As I mentioned in the syllabus, you don't have any textbooks to buy for this class. I pull from resources online, and this is one of those resources. So this is an online textbook from Lumen. And so I have embedded this section into our page. So if you are going to read it, and again, I would encourage you to read through this just so that you just kind of remind yourself about essay structure. You're going to click through the pages within this textbook before you go back and click through our Canvas pages. So I'll show you what I mean here. Again, you're going to read 4 pages within this embedded site. So this is the first page, Introduction to Organically Structured Essays. The one thing I will say about this reading that I really like is that it provides a really nice context for why you can't and shouldn't write that 3-pronged thesis in college essays. Presumably in English 100, you kind of broke out of that mold of writing I'm going to write about topic A, topic B, topic C, right? And I know that that's the high school habit that we embody is writing essays with that formula. But in college, it's just not sustainable, especially with the longer essays. And so this reading kind of helps you clarify why that is the case. Okay, anyway, Introduction to Organically Structured Essays. So this is the very first page of that reading. And you're just going to scroll until you see the blue next. This is going to keep you inside of the textbook, right? So here's the second page, the formulaic versus organic structure. And then you're going to click to the third page. There's the third page. And then the fourth page just has a few little practice activities that you might find helpful. Okay, so once you get to this page, the practice page, then you're going to scroll all the way down until you get back to the next for our class. Okay. Okay. And then we're in pre-writing. Again, these are just reminders. This first essay that we're doing is just going to be a lot of reminding about the skills that you have learned in the past. Again, this is another embedded page, so you're just going to follow that same process. There's 3 pages to read here. And then when you're done, you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom to click next. So what I did was I went ahead and I opened up conference slots for the next 3 weeks. As I explained in the very beginning of the class, one of the assignments for each essay is a conference with me. Now you can choose when you do that. You can choose to conference with me this week when you're just kind of um, thinking about your essay topic and maybe you want to talk through some ideas. Great, meet this week. Maybe you are the kind of person who wants to conference when you're closer to writing and turning in your rough draft. Great, meet with me next week. Maybe you're the kind of person who wants to wait until after you've gotten the rough draft back and then you want to talk about it. Great, meet with me in 2 weeks. The assignment is worth 5 points, and if you decide that you don't want a conference, it just means you don't get the points, right? That's all it is. But it's an opportunity for us to talk about your writing or about your process, or just kind of help you talk through your ideas, any questions that you might have. So you choose how to do it. Now, or sorry, not how, but when to do it. I've also given you on this page how to sign up for a conference. Okay, this walks you through all the steps. You're going to be using the calendar function right here. So you're going to follow these directions. Okay, all right. Now we're going to jump into the readings for this week. The first is from Trevor Noah. So I would encourage you to listen to the clip. I think he's just fascinating to listen to. And if you've never read or listened to his book, Born a Crime, I highly recommend it. This clip actually comes from that, from a section in that book. And so if you've had me for English 100, then this is going to sound a little bit familiar for you. Anyway, so you can either read it, I've included the transcript, or you can listen to it, or you can do both. But he's talking about language. The audio clip started at 1 minute and 12 seconds, just because, I mean, you can listen to it for the first minute if you want to, but they're talking about something that doesn't pertain to what we're discussing. So you're going to, however you choose to access the Trevor Noah interview, and then your discussion post about Noah's position. And then again, make sure that you're asking a question at the end, so that way someone can respond to that question. And then your reminder, again, just that will show up on your to-do list, so you don't forget to do the reply. The second is a reading that kind of builds on the Ludden and Boroditsky pieces from last week. And this week, Guy Deutscher, I think that's how you say his last name, asks the question, does language shape how we think? Which is really an interesting idea. Does language shape how we think? So you're going to read through this, and then your discussion board is actually a hypothesis, and your hypothesis is going to follow the same kind of the same formatting from last week. What are you learning? What's affirming what you already knew? What's challenging for you? And where do you have the questions? Where are your questions, right? So again, 4 tags. And then, everyone did a really good job using the tags. So please remember to do that, especially when it comes to the question. Otherwise, it's really hard for someone to search for the questions, right? Okay. And then you can hear my dogs chasing squirrels in the backyard. A reminder to post to your hypothesis. Your writing territory mentor text this week comes from the book The Maze Runner. So if you've read The Maze Runner, this excerpt will look familiar to you. And your focus for the week is the semicolon. Semicolon is, I think, one of the most versatile pieces of punctuation, maybe next to the dash, which we're also going to be learning about. But once you can master the semicolon, you have a strong tool in your pocket as a writer. So there's a quick little video here about how to use the semicolon. I've given you some examples here about what the semicolon looks like and kind of how it functions, like how it can change a pair of sentences if you are connecting them together. And then if you like the oatmeal, they have a really funny comic on semicolons. So you're going to kind of read through this, see how it's being used, and then try it yourself in this week's writing territory. Again, you can always write about whatever you want. I just ask that you are using those, using the mentor skill, right? This is your place to practice that. and make sure that you have it highlighted. I did notice that some folks are just not using MLA at all. Please know that that's a requirement. I just want it to become second nature. In college, you're going to have to be using MLA or APA all of the time. And so I want that process to just be something that you do. It's like muscle memory. You don't have to think about it. If it stresses you out to do MLA format, there is a template here. So all you have to do is click that. It'll ask you to make a copy. So you make a copy for yourself, and then just type over it, right? And it's already all done for you. So please make sure that you're using MLA format. If not, then I'm going to give you a little note that you're not going to receive credit until you do that. All right. Excuse me. You have a couple of extra credit options this week. Again, remember that there's a lot of extra pages in Canvas when it comes to the extra credit, and that's just because I have to trick Canvas. The first is from one of my favorite authors, James Baldwin. And here he's talking about this idea of Black English and kind of what role language plays in our perception and understanding of race. And so this extra credit opportunity is asking you to kind of dive into that idea and to really think about it just for your own self. What do you think it means? Yeah. Second opportunity is, if you've had me before as an instructor, this is going to sound familiar. Second opportunity is Annie Lamott's reading Shitty First Drafts. I love Shitty First Drafts. I'm a big fan of Shitty First Drafts. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to make sure that you read the article. It's very short. And then you're going to just kind of think about your own process as a writer. So a couple of these extra credit opportunities have to do with you reflecting on who you are as a writer, right? You're in an advanced composition class. And so part of what I want for you is for you to gain a better understanding of who you are every time that you sit down to write. So that way, when you emerge out of this class in December, you have a stronger sense of that, and you really have a good sense of your abilities as a writer, and you feel more confident in writing. And part of that means kind of unpacking our own strengths and weaknesses when it comes to writing. So that's what this extra credit opportunity is asking you to do. This last one is the same. Again, you have to kind of jump through this little hoop here. But it's asking you about who your watcher is. So this extra credit opportunity is based on an article by Gail Godwin. So just read through that. It's not long. It's like a page and a half. And then you have a couple of different opportunities, different ways that you can complete this assignment of Watcher at the Gate. And then that brings us to the end of week 3. Keep in mind that we are going to be moving closer to the rough draft. So this week, after this week is over, you will have read 4 readings for this issue on language. And then if you completed any of the extra credit opportunities that pertain to language, then you're kind of more steeped in that. So you should start thinking about how you think you might answer that essay question, right? Does language kind of, how does language play a role in how we view the world? Again, this week, remember, please sign up for a conference with me, either this week, next week, or the week after. Don't wait until the very end if you're wanting to conference. And if there's anything else I can help you with, please don't hesitate to let me know. Have a great week.